Just let me see. So you can unmute yourself. Anyone, all of you, you can unmute yourself when you want to speak up. Just unmute it, because normally the microphones give you uh, tend to give a lot of disturbance or something. So the link of the 5th and 8th. The 5th and 10th is something that is carried forward, disease that is carried forward. Now, taking it further, if it is in the genes, if something that has been inherited in the family, something that is there into the genes, then it has to be the 8th, because all the inheritance and everything, 8th house is a very important house, and it actually is directly opposite to the second house. So it is in the 2-8 axis. 2 is about the family. 2 is the family that we are born into. It is actually the family that we inherit. It is because once actually I had explained this thing into through entry and exit points of the body and soul. So normally, why these the 3rd house is where the body actually manifests. When the body starts forming, or the body is actually into growth, the 8th is when the body is destroyed.
Yeah.
So 8th is the body is destroyed. So thereafter, this it is a journey of soul towards the final final journey. While the soul enters from the 1st house, because because 12th is the resting place, final resting place. The soul enters from the 1st house, and then the 2nd house is is actually because it's 7th from the 8th house. It is actually and going by the Brihad Jatak also, the second the very first thing required in the conception, as defined into 10 months of the conception, it is actually Kalala. Kalala is actually the liquid form of sperm and ovum. When they both join together, then then the body starts manifesting. So after Kalala, it is Ankura. The second stage of the pregnancy is Ankura. So Ankura normally goes to the 9th house, and it is associated with the planet Jupiter. So then no doubt 9th is considered to be the womb. 4th is considered to be the womb. 9th is considered to be the womb. The reason is, if if we take normally the 10 months of pregnancy and then you start revolving it around the horoscope, if the conception, let's assume where the question is, where does the actual conception happen? Now, if we take 7th, the conception will go on to the 10th from 7th is your 6th house. From 7th it is it will be what, 7 to 7, 8, 9 and 10. It will go to the 4th house. The 10th house.
Yeah.
It will be the 4th house. So 4th house. So it does not complete the circle, rather, because we see the birth of the child, the progeny is seen from the 5th house.
True.
So and the second month, the second month of actual Brihad Jatak is considered to be your Ankura stage, or the stage where the sperm and ovum start to actually manifest and start to form into a physical body. That is why it's called Ankura. Ankura means the germination. So Ankura actually described into English, or the English translation, rough translation, if we say, it is actually the germination. So, and because ninth is associated, ninth is also called the womb. So then, because eighth is the klala, the liquid state, and eighth is also considered to be the death and regeneration. If we actually go through the significations of the Scorpio, Scorpio is a sign, you will find it is actually the death and regeneration. It is regeneration for the it actually frees the soul from the cage of the physical body. The physical body is destroyed, the soul travels on. As per Brihat Jatak, it will be its liquid state, and liquid state of the two different uh, uh, physical forms, that is the sperm and ovum. So from here, the next will be the ninth house. The ninth house will be the Ankura. So thereon, it will complete to the fifth. The 10 months will go on to the fifth. That ninth month is associated to moon. So moon is what is moon? Moon is mother. Moon is the womb. Moon is the uterus. Moon is the fallopian tubes. Ovary, only one organ that is under the domain of Venus is the ovaries. So uterus, fallopian tubes, and everything, it is under the domain of moon. So moon for mother, and moon is the womb. So the child is ready to come out of the womb. It will. So child has found the mother. Basically, it is rather. It's said ki in case of normally the 8th month is very critical as regards the birth of a child is considered. 8th month is considered to be very critical for childbirth. So anything normally most of the pregnancies which have actually blossomed into a child or a generation of the child, they are terminated through when in the 8th house normally. Not the 8th house or the 8th month. 8th month basically, because normally the problems start. Actually the problems related to pregnancy, the abortions, the miscarriages. They are mostly prevalent into your 8th month. So that is why the 8th month is very important. And there is a term called Atra. Atra means the child is terminated within the 8 days, 8 months. So this is a kind of curse. It's said normally said it is considered to be a curse. Atra. I'm not exactly sure I'm taking that, but that is the Punjabi term. So probably there may be a Hindi word for it. So, but it is called the Atra because art, it is related to 8 or the 8, number 8. So it is called Atra. So that is why 8th is very critical. And 8th is also under the domain of Adhan Lagna. So some authors actually point out that it is under the domain of Lagna. No, 8th month is governed by your Adhan Lagna. And for Adhan Lagna, the basic thing, the normal way to do it is, the easiest way to actually arrive at Adhan Lagna is go 273 days back from your date of birth. So that's your Adhan Lagna.
Okay.
That is the easiest way to do it. So it may not be accurate, but it still be somewhere around.
So I'm interrupting you here. So does it means that indicate about the soul has originated in the womb for Adhan Lagna?
See, Adhan Lagna is your basically it's not Adhan Lagna is your conception.
Period of the conception.
When conception actually happened.
Okay.
And here the third house is if we take 8th to be the conception house, because the union happens in the 7th. 8th is when the two things meet together, the sperm and the ovum. 9th is the womb, when it actually starts to fructify. And the 5th is actually when the childbirth happens. So the 10 stages of the pregnancy as per Brihat Jatak and Vremar, Vrahamir. So Vrahamir and the 10 stages. So it actually help you. It actually help. Basically, they correspond in such a way that this circle completes on the 5th house, and the fifth is the 10th month actually is governed by sun. So this is where that is why again if it is a soul, then again it is associated with your 5th house again. So Atma, Sharira and Atma, they actually then again converge into the physical world. So the physical world.
And even I have seen in many of the cases, children used to born on the 7th month. So what caused the birth on the 7th month?
It is called Satamaha. Basically, the 7th month children who are premature born normally, they have more chances of living than the children born on the 8th month.
Okay.
That is as per the stats of stats available to the through the hospitals and all this, whatever it is. So it is probably again something probably some hyperactivity of a child or something related to that. I do not have a reasonable explanation for that point, because this is something that I will get back to you. Let me dig up some text or something. If I find something, then I will obviously be back on this. Probably I do not have answer for this at the moment, because why does it actually come? Because it's again it will be again a destiny or something probably.
Yeah, definitely.
The child is there has to be some reason for everything. No? The destiny has a reason for everything.
Yeah.
Probably the 7-month child, those who are prematurely born are normally not very healthy.
Yeah, that's I have seen even in many of the cases.
If
they have some health issues.
So then you will find in those cases people whose immunity suffers. The immunity will suffer if your 6th lord goes to the 1st house, or your 1st lord goes to the 6th.
Goes to the 6th.
So it is a vice versa situation in both the cases, in both.
So does it give the chronic like situation, like health issues?
It may, because then this is just a one signification.
Yeah.
Because normally people rush as the Facebook astrology is, people normally tend to form an opinion on a single combination.
Yeah.
And in medical astrology, it is very dangerous.
Exactly.
Because then in medical astrology, you are actually, if someone is coming to you, though people normally, as regards the priority is concerned, people consider the health to be the least important of all topics. So
exactly.
And another fact, that is why probably when a person comes to you, it is either a full-blown disease or something. So at that time, your responsibility is increased twofold, rather many folds. So you have to sometimes what you speak can be very detrimental. If it is negative, if you have to tell something negative to the person, then it should be as Shri K.N. Raoji says, basically, when you have to tell something. I've never met him. I've never been to any seminar. I've never, but actually I read his works and all this. So I respect and admire Mr. K. N. Rao and for the knowledge he has and the approach he has for the astrology. That is something I respect. No, the approach is key. If you have to say something negative, then it should be said in most gentle manner as well, and then you should look for the positives present in a negative situation. First, you should actually tell the positives, and then you should break whatever information you have as regards whatever you have analyzed. It should be not it should not be a point blank thing or something like that. So actually there was one of my students from France, from last batch. uh, he did an analysis on medical astrology batch, medical astrology group, and she directly pointed out it is a mental aversion and something. It is the child is suffering from mental this and that, while she completely ignored the relevant factors, relevant benefic factors. So that was the aspect of Jupiter, and the presence of Jupiter actually into it is said that Jupiter and Venus, if they are present in the cadent house or the kendras, they can actually ward off many problems in the horoscope. So other than that, you have to see the positive points also. You need to do that because the father of the child actually had posted the chart there, and I for one thing I'm against is if you are looking for a free advice across forums, so that if you are you are avoiding to pay for it, then probably the kind of advice you get is for all to see, because not being a free advice or something, it can actually rather than being useful, it can be detrimental. It can in fact harm your interests or something. So
even it is also fearful. It has filled with lots of fear.
Basic, it has to be now then another factor people normally talk about is in olden days people did not take money, but I will relate some. I belong to the a family of agriculturists or something. I was born into a village, and I've seen I was born in 1966 rather, so I've seen those periods when the society worked in a very clock-like manner and precision. Everybody knew his place. Everybody knew what he or she has to do. For example, the craftsmen of the village, the blacksmiths, the carpenters, the other people who were into doing services, the pandits, the Gurdwara Bhaijis, the Granthis, and the temple priests. They will, every farmer, every farming, every house or every farmer in the village would donate a part of his produce to these all once every 6 months. So nobody would actually take physical money for the services that were rendered. Another factor was, as per the Shastra, it said whenever you go, when you read Prashna or something, you go through, you actually feel a person would actually carry something, some fruits, some vegetables, or whatever he or she can. It can be cash or kind or something like that. So
yeah, it should be some exchange of something.
So it needs to be done in such a way. But people tend to ignore this factor also. Rather, it's not. So even if somebody is doing free service or free reading to you, the best possible way is to pray for that person and go to a nearest temple or religious place, pray for the person, he or she has given me a free advice. So in lieu of that, God Almighty kindly help that person. So that has to be the basic approach. Normally, the fear factor astrology that is actually prevalent these days is another killing factor. So it is all normally you do remedies for 64th Nuansh, you do remedies for 22nd Drekna. So I did not find it in any of the classics. So how can people actually recommend remedies from for a 64th Nuansh or 22nd Drekna?
Even in BPHS and another classics, remedial portion is very short, so we cannot say that these are based on classical beliefs.
So basically, the fear factor. Actually, it is the fear factor. You normally need to avoid the fear factor into astrology. So coming back to the medical astrology, I'm again repeating to all the participants, we are doing a paid webinar. The fees is 350 on Sunday, and the topic is seat of disease, and it is a very, very interesting topic. And you can actually find that the way to actually log in and fix your fix your registration and everything. It is all I have shared it through my profile, so you can see it there, and it is on Vedic Siddhanta page. It's been shared by Mr. Rocky also. So and there is a link for actual registration. It is just 350 rupees, and the session is likely to be 2.5 hours or something even larger than that. So, and the the promise is basically it is going to be a very lively session. You normally it is a snapshot method of doing of actually finding the organ present. See, doctors do a physical. Doctors have certain advantages over the astrologers. One, in case the person is not physically, you are not, the person is not physically present when you are doing a horoscope or something. So you do not have an access to the situation the person is, and there are certain symptoms that are very visible. For doctors, the physical examination is the one part that they have advantage to. Another is the number of tests they do, the medical tests they do on a particular person to find out in case of they suspect a disease. The medical astrology actually points out a particular thing. The medical astrology, it's easy to point the organ. It's quite easy. In fact, if you have the grip of medical astrology, it is quite easy to point at the organ that this is the organ that is actually to be afflicted. And the combination, now you can write down, if you have to write it, the combination for how to actually, the best thing that works is see the significator. For example, if the lord of the house, the karka of the house, the natural karka of the house, and the sign lord, the natural sign lord of the house, if they are all afflicted, then disease can be of that particular house. Disease can be to the organ pertaining to that particular house, where all the karkas, the natural karka, the natural sign lord and the sign lord that is in the chart, if all three are afflicted along with the house, then the disease can be pointed out to that particular thing. Another factor is
Can
another
we take an example?
for let's in case of stomach in case of stomach problems, or because the stomach is actually divided into two factors, into two parts, upper stomach and the abdomen.
Lower stomach.
So it is the fifth and sixth house.
Okay.
So the karaka of the fifth house is Jupiter, the karaka of the sixth house is Mars, and the natural sign lord of the fifth is Sun. The natural sign lord of the sixth is Mercury. So and if the sign lords can be any, sign lords can be 2, 3, 4, 5, and any sign. So if all three are afflicted, the fifth and sixth, the affliction is to that area, that is abdomen, upper abdomen and lower abdomen. That is the fifth and sixth house, and all significators, sign lords, karakas, and natural sign lords. They are all afflicted. Then obviously it will be the disease will pertain to the stomach or the abdomen. That is the abdomen area in whole. So it will be present in that particular factor. Another is thing that can be actually help you is the positioning of the sixth lord and to which sign it goes and what kind of planets it is with. That is another pointer that actually helps you. For example, I will take my example. I have a Sagittarius ascendant, and I have Moon and Rahu in the fifth house, Aries. I have the sixth lord, Venus, into Libra with Sun and Ketu. So, and
can you share the chart?
Okay, I will do that. It will take a couple of just a minute or so, because yes. So the chart is visible now to all of you. So see, we have the sixth lord goes to the 11th house, and it is in sign Libra, and it is combust also. The sixth lord is combust, and it is in Rahu Ketu axis as well. Now the natural the sign lord of the natural sign lord of the fifth is Sun, and Sun is in Rahu Ketu axis. Natural sign lord of the sixth is Mercury. Mercury is in the 12th house. Now Jupiter as the karaka of the fifth is in the 8th house, and then the Mars as a karaka of this thing is under the aspect of Rahu, the sixth. So here my problem actually, whenever I had a physical problem, it has always been either the kidneys or the stomach. The first time it actually happened was a ruptured appendicitis, chronic ruptured appendicitis. It was in 1981, and the dasha at that time was Venus Saturn. So the dasha operating was Venus Saturn, and it was in 1981. It was the ruptured appendicitis. I was the only survivor from the entire ward. I was in the hospital for around 3 months. So that was the first time. Thereafter, in 1999, I had a kidney stone about 8 mm. And again in 2013, I had a kidney stone 15 mm. And both the times it went out naturally. So see, now the kidney is represented by the sign Libra and planet Venus, both. So, and the sixth lord is your Venus only. So the sixth lord gives you a clue. The bhavas that are afflicted give you a clue. So another factor is this is actually one of the factors. How to arrive at it, you have to see it from the three angles: the house, the sign lord, the natural sign lord, and the karka. If all three are gone, then obviously it is something related to your abdomen. Even the kidney stones and all, it is within the abdomen only. The kidneys are within they are all located in the abdomen itself. Obviously, you can call it a lower abdomen specifically. So the issue, the sixth lord will always tell you something. It will normally tell you something. And I will share something else also. See, this is a chart of a cancer patient here. So cancer combinations are one of the toughest to find normally. So, but you see the sixth lord is in Mercury. The sixth lord Mercury happens to be the Mercury, and it is in the fifth house, and it's with Saturn. Again, there is a significant shift in Bhavchalit. So normally the two fluid, the fluid carrying two planets represents fluid into our body. One essential fluids are represented by the moon, and the reproductive fluids are represented by the Venus. And cancer as a disease is you have to actually go into how to approach medical astrology is actually you have to first understand the anatomy, then you have to go to the medical sites and then learn about the disease, how it happens, what it causes. Normally the cause of cancer is not known. It is said that within the human bodies, the cells, normally they keep regenerating and dying. So the process of regeneration is always there. They keep on actually dying and then regenerating and then dying and regenerating. But as regards the cancer cells, once they establish, they refuse to die. So that is how. So if a cancer forms in a particular, there is a cancer in a particular organ of the body, organ related to a particular organ in the human body, it spreads through the lymphatic system. It spreads through the blood normally. So from one organ to another, the way is through the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is actually governed by Pisces. Planet Moon is the the significator of the lymphatic system. So the sign that is associated to lymphatic system is the Pisces. So both Moon and Jupiter become quite relevant here. And Moon actually is for Rakta Dhatu. And as regards the Dhatus assigned to various planets, so Moon is the Rakta Dhatu. And Jupiter is the Meda, the cholesterol, all the fat. And Jupiter is also the arterial system. Because the Sagittarius is the sign Sagittarius is about the arterial system. So if it has to spread the cancer, it takes on the route it takes on, actually the vehicle that it takes on is your lymphatic system. So it from one part of the body to the other parts, it actually uh, uh, travels through the lymphatic system. So that is why it is said that Jupiter is quite relevant in expansion. So
Sir,
it,
sir, Jupiter represents growth, and Rao Saab's one of the rule is that whenever there is a sixth house connection, sixth and 11th house connection with Jupiter also gives growth to the disease, and most probably it leads you to cancer.
actually this is a factor.
Yeah, this is one factor. It's one factor.
It is a factor.
Your
So see, only planet that is good in the sixth house is Mars. They normally it is said in astrology that malefics do good in sixth house. But if there are two malefics in the sixth house, or there is a Saturn or Jupiter here or any other planet other than Mars, if they are up to, it will always pronounce into some problem to the digestive system. And 80% of our immunity actually is in the digestive system. And the digestion is actually a fourfold process. As per the Western astrology, they have four humors. We have three humors, three dosha. They have the four humors, and as per them, the four humors are actually based on four elements. While in the difference we have between the three humors and the four humor theory is actually the three humors are we do not have the earth element. Earth element is redistributed among the three doshas. The sign Taurus goes to Kapha, the sign Virgo goes to Pitta, the sign Virgo goes to Vata, and the Capricorn goes to the Pitta. So the earth element is missing in the three dosha theory we have here in the Ayurveda. While the four humor theory of the earlier medieval Western medicine was based on all four elements. So and even there also it is said it's said that the digestion is actually a fourfold process. So it starts from the liver and all, it goes on, and it actually then merges into the various factors. It actually forms blood, and then it is taken to the other nutrition and all. So it is quite a lengthy topic in all. So I won't. I will just leave it to the basic as of now, because it's a topic in itself. I like talking about medical astrology because normally I've spent so much of a time on it that and it is actually a full-fledged session. If we talk about digestion only, it is a one-day seminar. It's a full one-day seminar. So only digestion, nothing else. How it happens, where it happens, and what are the elements and all. So actually, Pitta, the fire is actually where the fire is very relevant. So for a digestion, because it actually helps you assimilate your food. It actually help you digest your food. But then it also raises your body temperature, and because that is you have certain acids into your stomach, and if the lining of your stomach, if the acid is able to disturb the lining of your stomach, it is actually, in Hindi it is called shool, and in English it is called gastritis. So basically that shool will happen. whenever there is a loss of moisture, the moisture is provided by, when there is a surge of acidic element into the fire is more prevalent, or the pitta order goes into disarray, then it will be your because the acid actually starts damaging the lining of your stomach. When it does it, it is called, so in earlier times it was called shul. In Hindi it is called shul. And I remember uh, 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 while I was younger or something, so I would uh, see the village ladies actually when someone was pretending to be sick or something, the village ladies would say in Punjabi, "Tenu ki sool pe gaya." So that was basically the shul or sool. It is the same thing, and it is very painful. It actually is very, very painful. The gastritis, it's actually very painful. So the moon, the moon is, why moon is very important into digestion is because it brings in that moisture. It brings in that the protective moisture. The moisture that it brings in is, it does not allow the acid or the acid within the stomach to actually destroy the linings of the stomach. So that is one factor that needs to. So why moon is important into digestion. So whenever we have to see a digestion, we need to actually check with the moon. And another factor is, if we have to see the kidney disease, the problem to the kidneys, moon becomes very relevant, because moon is the moisture. And the process, the function of the kidneys is to actually filter out the toxicity from the body, to remove the waste from the body, may it be anything also. So the moisture and then it is rakta also, the dhatu is rakta also. The function of the kidneys is to actually filter out the toxicity from the blood itself, blood also. So it is a twofold filter. One, it has to remove the toxic elements from the body, so that the body's functioning is not disturbed. So that is why it is very logical. It's very logical to see the position of moon and Venus when you have to see a kidney related problems. Similarly, there are certain other factors. I've seen people discussing on Facebook on certain factors that are basically like skin diseases. Normally, they would ask a question: how would skin diseases happen? So, skin diseases actually. So again, you have to have the grip of the basics. Basics, if you know about medical astrology, then it is a factor that can help you. So see, as regards the skin is concerned, as per Vrahamir, the 10 stages of the pregnancy, the charma, or the stage where skin forms around, skin starts forming in the embryo, that is called charma. That month is governed by a moon. So you have one significator, one particular significator, because moisture is very important for the human skin. The loss of moisture will actually uh, uh, make make it shrivel, make it wither or something like that. So then, as per the dhatus, Mercury is associated with sense of touch. Mercury is associated with skin. So you have the second significant. The third is the sense of touch is again associated with Saturn. So the primary and secondary significators of the skin are your Mercury and Saturn. They are the primary and secondary significators. Now, moon is another factor. Venus is another factor because Venus is the beauty. Actually, your Venus is the beauty of the human body. It actually helps you identify. Actually, is the texture and everything, the glow, the luster of the human body. So, normally, in 90% of the charts that has skin problem, you will find the association of Saturn and Mercury. So Saturn and Mercury become very, very important in case of skin diseases. Again, the very significations give you the problem. Then there are certain combinations in the classics. You have certain combinations in the classics. The classics that normally carry these combinations are Shambhu Hora Prakash, Sarvars Chintamani, Jatak Tattva, Jatak Parijat, Viram Samloka. So these are the classics that give you certain definitions. These definitions are normally given there. They again point out to a very relevant factor. They again point out to the definitions therein. If you expand them into actually analyze it, sometimes you actually get the combination related to that particular chart. So it's not all, because sometimes you are able to comprehend what is actually meant by that thing. Sometimes you are not able to do that. It's not that classics are failing, it's because the understanding is at that particular moment you are thinking on a different level. That is why you miss that relevant point. Otherwise, classics actually give you a very precise and deep definition of the related disease. So this is one factor that you need to actually, and then the book that is considered to be very good in it is like in the form of a dictionary. It is Encyclopedia of Medical Astrology by Cornell. Cornell was Dr. MD. Cornell is MD. And Cornell was I don't know whether he's living or he's passed away, but let's actually, so the book is a Treyer House. So basically, that is another factor is keep reading from the Western authors as well. The Western authors also give you many clues. So there is Philip Andrews, then there is William Lilly, then there are German authors. I do not remember the names. So they have actually written some very relevant points on medical astrology. So, and the first book, I probably failed to mention it. The first book into medical astrology probably is written by Major Khoth, and it is a Treyer House again. But it does not carry any example horoscopes or something like that. But it actually is a very good book, and it is no longer in the print. Again, unfortunate part of it, it's again not in print by Major Khoth. So it's again a very good book, very descriptive book, but it's without any the examples are not given there. So you do not have an example. Probably at that time when it was written, the examples were not into vogue. So it was the formation of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, and then the astrology taught by Shri K.N. Rao ji that actually emphasized on the example part of it. Prior to that, Shri B.V. Raman ji has given some, even his grandfather Surendra Rayan ji, and there are certain examples they have explained, but actual examples were started coming into books after the formation, I think, when the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan came along. So this is and now we can take up the questions. If anyone of you want to speak up, you just unmute your phone, and then you can ask the question. And any query, any questions you have, please do ask. So now we can start on that. So no questions are coming. I think
today's session is over. I think we have covered so many things.
Actually, I will repeat it again. We did it in Facebook. Normally, I get people to join more easily because there are around 200 participants, and whenever I'm live, around 200 or something. So that is because this actually allows you to speak up. It actually allows the screen sharing and all. This is a better forum, but probably it has some technicalities. Not everybody is able to log into it for the first time, because you have to download the Zoom application and all this. So it is required into that. Again, I repeat, we are doing a paid webinar on Sunday 21st, and it is the fees is rupees 350 only, and it is going to be a very interesting session. That is a promise. Probably you see, it's just the fee is very nominal, and it's been kept purposely for that. It's just 350 rupees. So that's normally people who are into drinking or something, they whenever they buy a half or a quarter, that is exactly what they pay for. So so I don't
normally
the message. Whenever people tend to see my face, they will say, "Pitte to ho gaye yaar." So actually, I have never touched liquor since 1988, because though I live in a state, Punjab, and I actually tasted liquor in when I was in 7th. So I gave up when I was actually appearing for my final exams, BCom final exam. So that is probably. So normally people tend to lose this. So again, the link can be found into your this thing. So it is going to be a very lively and interesting session. So you can all see it from my profile. You will be able to find it in my profile and all this. Whosoever actually needs a recording of this, we plan to do. We may put it in on MediaFire, so the link will be provided. You can all download it from there. So I will talk to Rocky, and we'll see. We'll give you a link. It will be probably you will find it from my profile or the Vedic Siddhanta profile. So it will be there anyway. So thank you all. Thanks for actually spending your valuable time with us. Thanks a lot. And hope to see you soon. And thank you. Thanks. And now let's end the meeting. In case if someone has a question, I am willing to answer. But if otherwise, we can. Thank you, and thanks a lot, and all the best to all of you. Probably it is an evening now. Good evening and good night to all of you. Thank you all, and hope to see you again on Sunday. So that is again a promise. You won't regret it. You won't actually regret it. Thank you. Thanks a lot.